this is Frank here, coming at you with another ArmA 3 video, and this one's going to be covering the AH-64D Apache Longbow created by a nod unit in France. It's basically the Apache helicopter created in ArmA 3 with a mostly clickable cockpit, some cool simulated features, and a customizable loadout. I'm going to kind of go over how to get the head tracking mode working really quickly, which allows you to move around a cursor to click the buttons instead of having to look directly at the button to click the button, and also the startup procedure of the helicopter, as well as customizing the loadout of the helicopter. And then at the end I'll also highlight a pretty big issue with the screens, but it's not too big of an issue. Is once you know about it, it's easy to get over, but you guys will get a good understanding of what I'm talking about when I get to that. I'm going to try to keep it pretty short and brief. I'm not going to go into the details of each screen or all the things about this helicopter, but there is a website dedicated to the documentation of this helicopter. For that, I will put in the description, in case you're further interested in this. I'll also do other videos covering the not the RWR, but the FCR system and other things with this helicopter sometime in the future. So anyway, if you do want to customize the loadout of this helicopter, you have to make sure that an ammo HEMTT is parked next to the Apache, and you also have to be inside of the Apache. So, first thing we're going to do is open the pilot door and get in as pilot. Alright, the first thing I like to do when I get in the helicopter is scroll all the way down to the second to last option. It's head tracking on. Select that. That basically allows you to use your mouse to move around this little X cursor. Wherever this green X is where, if you have it hovering over a button and you press your use action 20 key, basically you use action 20 key, you go to you press escape, configure, controls, custom controls, and at the very bottom use action 20. I set mine to X, but I'm probably going to set that to something else when I'm using my stick. Also, another thing to note is make sure that you do not fly this with a mouse and keyboard. It seems like this was designed more for throttle and stick, because if you try to use the mouse to fly, it's too responsive, to be honest. And also, if you use the head tracking on thing to select to click buttons, the mouse will also try to move the helicopter and the cursor at the same time, and it'll just be a really big pain in the ass trying to click buttons without moving the helicopter and crashing the damn thing. So anyway, make sure you're using a stick and throttle basically when you fly this. Next thing, now that we have the head tracking mode on, and we have our use action 20 key set, I'm going to look to my right and hover my cursor over the handle here, press the use action 20 key to close it. So now the canopy is closed. Alright, the helicopter is already parked next to an ammo HEMTT, so if I want to customize the loadout, scroll down to the arming addAction, select that, and now you have a loadout menu here. On the right is a bunch of munitions that you could load onto the helicopter. You could left click each of them and it'll tell you a unique description about each one. All these Hellfires are different in some way. Some of them are more effective against armor, some of them have slightly better range, some of them are more effective against infantry, stuff like that. These are illumination rounds, this is air-to-air round, I think, and this is extended fuel tank. These are rocket pods, or dumb-fired missiles, basically, rockets. And this is just an empty rail system, basically, if you wanted to have a light loadout, or just wanted to go in with guns. Anyway, what we're going to do is show you guys how to use a custom loadout. I'm just going to very quickly click on the fuel tank here, and we'll click here. This basically means that the item is selected, and now ready to be placed on the helicopter. So, for example, because the fuel tank is selected in the center, and I clicked over here and here, I'll now have an extended fuel tank on the left and right. Let's also put rocket pods. There we go, rocket pods on both sides, and then click load. It takes about 10 seconds for the helicopter's loadout to be customized. Once you click the load button, and then close the window, it tells you that the weapons are loaded and the current weight of the helicopter, which I'm not positive, but I think this helicopter actually does factor in the weight with the flight model. I could be wrong, but it'd be pretty cool if it did. Anyway, let's start with the its flight startup procedure. But just before I do that, just want to let you guys know that this helicopter does have 6 degrees of freedom. Basically, you can move forward and back, up and down, left and right. Right now, it did snap a little bit when I move forward, but that's because I'm using, like, when I move forward, it also zooms me in as well. It's just a setting that I put in there on my own. Anyway, to start up this helicopter, you have to click the battery, APU, the engine 1 and 2 starter switches, and then put the throttle all the way up on both sides, 1 and 2. And then once the throttle is all the way up, set the rotor brake switch to off. You could also test the countermeasures, turn your AH-HADs on, and there's a backlight switch. Basically, the sweet spot for the backlight switch is this little black circle right by your left arm. My mouse sensitivity is crazy right now, I don't know why. Anyway, start this thing up. It's going to show what it looks like with the backlight on. You can see it lights up the instruments on the right, all the buttons and switches. But I don't really need it right now. Your AH-HADs is this big bumpy thing here. You can adjust the brightness of the AH-HADs. This little is a AH-HADs brightness control knob. Just click that and it'll incrementally. God damn, my fucking mouse is going crazy. Jesus Christ. But as you click it, it incrementally adjusts the brightness of the AH-HADs. But the AH-HADs is going to be a little distracting right now, so I'm going to turn that off. Alright. There's also, you can test the countermeasures. Alright. I'm not going to spool up yet because it'll be a little loud and I don't want to be, have to talk over it. So, basically you got these 2 screens. And basically, something I do want to highlight is that these 2 screens display specific pages. The only 2 pages that these 2 screens will show is the main menu, and also the caution panel, or whatever it's called, page. Basically, it's this. It'll tell you if there's anything wrong with the helicopter here, or whatever you need to do to get the helicopter started, usually. Just the gist of it anyway. It also tells you in this little screen up here the important stuff. So what we're going to do is go to the main menu, and I'm just going to show you guys what pages are displayed on both screens. There's on the right screen, the only pages that go on that you'll be able to view aside from the 2 I already showed you is the ASE page, which is basically kind of a tactical awareness kind of screen. It's completely black, but I think that it could also display a map, and it'll display targets on the map. I'm not positive though. I'll do another video on that if I'm wrong. There's a TSD screen. This I do know shows a map. At first it's black, but if you zoom in here, you can see that there is a map tab right here. So I'm gonna click that, and now we see the map, obviously, of Altus. If I click it again, you won't see the grids of this, but you'll see a better satellite image of the map. Alright. And there's also the FCR page, which is a radar. You could also cycle through the different type of radar. The circular one is a 360-degree radar that scans for air targets only. The other one scans for pretty much everything, but only at a 180-degree angle in the front of the helicopter. So yeah, I'm not going to go into the details about the radar or any other pages, just showing you which ones work. Next is the engine page. Yes, this is the default page that's on when you turn on the helicopter. And that is it. Those are the only pages that work on the right screen. The pages that work on the left screen are the weapon page. I'll go into all the details about these pages in another video. The flight page, the fuel page, and I believe that's it. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's that. I'll create another video in the future about more in detail more details about those pages in the future, but not right now because I want to try to keep this video kind of short. Just kind of show you guys how to start this thing up and that these screens do work. If you do want to get the map to work, if you go to the TSD here, you can see how there's an Altus map. It usually doesn't show the helicopter's position on the map. It's just an ArmA 3 glitch currently. It works in ArmA 2 Operation Arrowhead though. But I'll create a video on how to get that to work in your missions. It's basically a parameter you put in your mission on the helicopter. But anyway, I'm being messaged on Steam and I gotta go. I think that's everything. I showed you loadout. Alright, we showed you how to get the fucking IHADs, not the IHADs, head tracking working. You know what, real quick, I'll show you that you can get the FCR working. Click the FCR button. I'll start up the helicopter by pressing Q or engine on, whatever. If you scroll down, there's an addAction that says FCR toggle. Select that addAction. Now you can see it's sweeping. This will pick up armored targets, air targets, helicopters, jets, you know, stuff like that. Anyway, hopefully this video was helpful. If you want more videos like this, I will do them. If not, then I will not do them. Simple as that. Anyway, take it easy, guys.